If you find yourself having to deal with fear again and again, today I'm going to show you why it keeps coming up and what you need to do to rise above it and eliminate it for good. That's what we're going to take a look at today. Coming up. Welcome to the Power of Quiet, helping you get in touch with your true authentic self, that part of you that has no limitation, that's full of love, joy, and is the source of abundance. So we show you how to tap into this and allow it to demonstrate real-world abundance in your life. And what's great about this channel is we don't just talk about this stuff like the law of attraction and go on and on and on talking about it. We show you exactly how to do it so you could prove these out for yourself. So if you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe because this channel will absolutely change your life. Now, before we begin on this topic, I just want to point out that just outside here, they're doing some construction. I live on one of the beautiful canals here in Amsterdam, and right outside they're renovating a houseboat. So there might be some banging and some other noise, and we'll just see how it goes, and hopefully it won't be too big of a disturbance here. All right, so let's take a look at fear. Now, I've done a number of videos on fear, showing how fear is just a feeling. That's it, nothing more. And we often assign this feeling and give it meaning to stories and situations, saying, oh, that's why I'm so fearful, and that's what I must be afraid of. But what we can discover by practicing letting go of the fear is that when we let that feeling go, the story itself disappears. And we find ourselves having no problem. In fact, just the opposite. We find ourselves more alive, more full of joy, and empowered to really make a difference in our lives, do something great. So right up above here, I'm going to link these other videos so you can check them out. Now, on this video, I want to handle the question that comes up a lot. I hear this a lot of times, that I've been letting go of fear and I feel a bit lighter. Then the next moment or the next day, the fear comes back. And I keep letting it go and it keeps coming back. When is the fear going to be gone? Am I actually doing anything that's making a difference? So the first thing I want to point out is that the fear is our own creation. Every time we experience fear, we have a tendency, a habit, to dislike the fear, right? We don't like the feeling. We don't like that it's there. It's bothering us. It's getting in our way. So what do? We say no to the fear. And when we say no to the fear, we push it down and we collect it. And we've been doing this our whole life. Ever since we were a kid and our parents told us, be afraid of this, watch out for that, be afraid of that. And we see things that we look at and we go, oh, I wouldn't want that to happen to me. And that stirs up a feeling of fear, and we feel that feeling of fear and we're like, oh God, anything to get away from this feeling. And so we shove it down in an effort to not have to feel it or deal with it. But when we do that, we push it into our subconscious, and it's still there, it's still running. That's why a lot of times we wake up in the middle of the night or early in the morning feeling loads of fear, dread. Oh, my whole life is hanging by a thread because of all this fear that we've collected, and it keeps pushing up to leave. So that's why when we start now opening up to it, the fear is like, yeah, I want out of here. I don't belong here. So let's start by examining where this fear comes from. And that is, it is our creation. How? Well, whenever the fear comes up, whenever we experience it, how do we react to that fear? We don't like it, right? It doesn't feel good. It gets in our way. It affects our decisions, our judgment. And so when we encounter that fear, what do? We say no to it, right? Like, fear, I don't need you right now. Get out of here. And we try to push it down so we don't have to deal with it. We try to manage that fear. But when we push it down, we're actually collecting it. And every time we push down that fear, we push it down into the subconscious where it is still running. That's why we often will wake up in the middle of the night or early in the morning, just like in such a fright, like my whole life is hanging by a thread and we're sweating. That's because that fear is coming up, all that fear that we collected. It's coming up because it doesn't belong there and it wants to leave. So here we have the situation with the fear coming up, pushing up because it's bottled up in this container. It's like, I don't belong here. Get me out of here. And at the same time, we're pushing down on it with as much pressure as it's pushing up, we're pushing down, plus a little bit more pressure to keep it down. Now, this does two things. Now, first of all, like I said, it gets us to keep the fear, collect it, and hold on to it. And the second thing that it does is it gets us to use our positive energy to constantly push and hold down this fear. And this is a very tiring job. And that's why sometimes we just can't do it anymore. And then the fear takes over and we can't handle it. So let's get right down to basics and practice. And remember the fact that we can let these feelings go instead of pushing down with them, instead of fighting with them, and sometimes doing everything that we can to run away from the feelings and numb them out so we don't have to feel them. Let's prove that we can actually let them go. So take a look at something that you're afraid of in your life, something that you're worried about, something that you wouldn't want to have happen to you. Could be a situation that's currently going on in your life, could be something that could happen, and that stirs up fear in you, right? So think about that situation and get in touch with your fear, that worry, that concern. And when you think about the situation, rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the most fearful, worried, concerned, and 0 being the least. Just measure yourself on that scale of 0 to 10. Notice where you are. Now, wherever you're at, just look at that fear, whether it's at a 3, a 5, or a 10, wherever it's at. And notice, there's part of you, part of that reactive mind, part of that ego mind of yours that's like, get this away from me. Anything but this. That's that part of you that wants to say no to it. And notice that's a habit. It's a deep habit that's been going on for a long, long time. But notice, when you say no to that fear, does that make the fear go away? It doesn't, does it? It keeps coming back again and again. So obviously, say no doesn't work. Therefore, we're going to do something radically different. Are you willing to do something radically different? All right? So look at that fear, wherever it's at, the 3, the 5, the 10, wherever you measured it at. Look at that fear, and now just say yes to it. That's it. Y-E-S. Just say yes to that fear. Try it out. And say yes to that fear even more. And say yes to it even more. And even more. And even more. Just say yes to it. That's all. Just look right at that fear and say yes to it. It's not complicated. Could you say yes to it even more? And could you say yes to it even more? And could you say yes to it even more? And even more. And even more. And even more. And just say yes to that fear. It's just a feeling. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just a sensation now in this moment. Just say yes to it, that feeling. And say yes to it even more. And even more. Now, measure yourself again and see if you moved on the scale of 0 to 10. See if it dropped a few points or dropped a lot. Just notice. You notice a difference? All right, now, that's showing you that you can let the feeling go. You don't have to fight with it. You don't have to push it back down. When you say yes to it, you're actually letting it leave. Now, speaking of letting it leave, since you have some energy flowing, since you feel lighter, and you see yourself moving, now welcome up the remaining fear, wherever that came from. Just allow that fear to arise. Now open up a big imaginary door right in front of you. And imagine that fear just going right on out the door, whatever that looks like to you. Just imagine that fear coming up and leaving. Just allow that fear to arise. It's just a feeling. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just a feeling. Welcome it up. Say yes to it. Open up that imaginary door. And just watch that fear go right on out the door. Watch it leave. And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And how's that feel? You feel it moving through? And doesn't that feel good? It feels lighter, open, more easy, right? Just having that door open. And this shows us, again, how we've collected these feelings. You feel that opening, and you feel how nice and easy it feels when it's just coming up and moving through, even if it's a little bit. And if you just feel a little bit lighter, that's still showing you that you're moving in the right direction. Now, this is showing what we do otherwise as a habit. See, instead of being open, most of the time we're shut off. We're closed. And we're trapping and suppressing these feelings, keeping them, holding on to them. And that's the only reason why they keep coming up. Now, some of you that have been practicing this, have been following what we do here on this channel, you may be wondering, well, yeah, I'm letting fear go, but the next day it comes back. Or later on, yeah, I have it again. So did I really let it go? Yes. Look, every bit of fear that you let go of, just like this, it's gone. You're actually letting it go permanently. The thing is that there's more down there. And if we're suppressing these feelings, holding them down, it's like having tissues in a tissue box. So these feelings, when we release them, it's just like removing tissues. See, we take out one feeling, the next one pops up. We take out that one, the next one pops up. We take out that one, the next one pops up. Oh, I reached into the box here. Let's just assume there's more. So say we got another one. And now we're like, I've let go of so many tissues already. There's more there. I don't like that. I'm impatient. I'm frustrated because I don't like this fear, and there's still more there. Now, what do we end up doing if we fall into this mindset? We start pushing our feelings back into that box. And that's how we collected them in the first place. So, look, if you're doing this, first of all, just to know that you're doing the right thing and that what you're doing is working is when you are letting go of fear, just like what we did a moment ago. And you feel a little bit lighter, that's it. You're doing it. You're letting it go. But there's more there. It's like peeling an onion. So we let go of some more fear, we let it go, and then there's like a deeper layer that comes up because we let go of what's at the surface. So we let the deeper part come up, and then we could see that, feel it, okay, I'm going to do the exact same thing. See, that's the beauty of what we do here, is that what we do is super, super simple. It's not complicated. We don't have any tricks, any nuances. It's all very straightforward. We just look at the fear, we say yes to it, we invite it up, we let it go. That's it. Super simple. So take a look. See if you have any more fear. Take a look at that thing that you were worried about a moment ago. And first of all, look to see if you're as bothered or as worried as you were before. You notice a difference? Now that proves that when you let the fear go, now the story that is running in your mind, it loses its impact. And now it quiets down. It's no longer as real. And if you let go of a significant portion of your fear, or all of it, then the whole story crumbles and disappears. But as you look now, you might see some more there, or you might think about something else that worries you, that bothers you. Now, get in touch with that fear. Look at that and measure where you are now with fear on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being the most fearful, worried, concerned, and 0 being the least. Just measure yourself again. And wherever you're at, whether it's a 4, a 6, or maybe you tapped into something really big and it's like a 15. Just look at that fear. It's just a feeling. It's just a number that you've identified. Look right at it and say yes to that fear. How simple is that? Just say yes to it. And say yes to it even more. In fact, look right at that fear and say, I love you, fear. Try it out. I know it might sound silly, but try it. I love you, fear. I love you. I really, really love you. I love you unconditionally. I love you. I love you. I love you if you stay. I love you if you leave. And I decide to be happy either way. Because I'm not giving my happiness away to a feeling. I'm not giving my happiness away to fear. That's stupid. It's my decision. So what if I have a feeling? I decide to be happy anyway. And I love you, fear. I really, truly love you from the bottom of my heart. I just love you. And how does that feel? You feel lighter? Now walk them up some more. Just open up. Open up that imaginary door. And let that fear go. Just watch it leave right on out the door. Imagine it. You just use your imagination. Picture it leaving and watch what happens. It leaves. Why? Because you're in charge. You're the owner and operator here. That fear belongs to you. So when you just imagine it leaving and you invite it up, you give it permission to leave, it leaves. So if you have more fear, they're just like tissues in a tissue box. What are you going to do about it? Now you have a decision. You could decide to get frustrated and say, oh, there's more fear there. I'm just going to give up. I'm going to stop. This isn't working. I'm going to go try something else. I'm going to go look here for an answer, look over there, and never get an answer. The answer is right in front of your nose. That fear belongs to you. It's your feeling. Take responsibility and let it go. It's not going to leave on its own because you're pushing it down. You need to let that go. So you have a choice. You can keep that fear, keep it bottled up, or decide, I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how much fear I've accumulated. And even if it takes me 30 years to let it all go, I don't care. I'm doing it. I'm going to stay with it. I'm just going to keep saying yes to it. And I'm going to continue until the whole box is empty. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds like an awful lot of work. But notice what you just experienced doing what we did here. That when you open up, it feels nice and light and easy. This is the easy road to open up and let the feelings go. Whereas it takes effort to push them down and keep them down. And that's the alternative. So either you choose the easy road or you choose to keep doing what you've been doing. Keep having that effort, and you'll have that effort until you die. It's your choice. Do you choose to stay with it and see it all the way through? Now, I can only tell you from my own experience, because I've been in the same boat. I've had the same thoughts that, man, this is forever. I've got so much fear and feelings and garbage inside of me, negativity. I'm never going to let it all go. But what choice do I have? Do I choose to stop? Do I choose to just bottle it all up and keep going through life the way I used to? Or use this new skill and discover something different for myself? I'm making the smart choice. So what choice do you make? Let me know your choice. Leave a comment below. What do you decide? Are you ready and willing to let all of your fear go? Let me know. And for new videos that show you how to master your mind and master your life in the world, then make sure to subscribe to this channel. Every week, we show you how to reclaim your power. So subscribe and hit that bell notification, and I'll see you on the next video.